What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and today we're talking about farming gold, and we're doing so in kind of a Rant fashion. This will be talking about herbalism, mining and skinning specifically, so gathering professions, and one of the big problems that I personally have with gathering in the War Within, and if you are watching this and you are farming gold through gathering, I would assume, like, I'm just gonna ask you, is gathering good or bad? And I think we're gonna have people on both sides here, because there really is two sides. If you just go right now and pick up gathering, start trying to farm some gold, you will notice it's like 20 to 30,000 gold per hour at the best. I tried herbalism and mining last night on this character, and I'm just gonna show you what my build is right now. So I went to the auction house, I have skilled up herbalism to 100 skill points, I bought some items from the auction house. We have finesse gear, quality 5, we have gardener's basket, quality 5, and for some reason we have this one at quality 3, doesn't really matter though, the stats are low anyway, so we have this one as well. Now for knowledge points, we have spent 2 weeks to get this amount right here, and for mining we have roughly the same, so we have spent 2 weeks to get this amount. We have way more points in mining though, and then we once again have green tools, so we have chosen to spend the acuity on books instead of tools, and yeah, I made about 27,000 gold per hour doing herbalism plus mining. It's not insanely bad, but it's also not insanely good. It's 27k gold per hour flying around looting stuff, and I also tried skinning with a bare bones skinning setup, and in a group farm I could make 35k per hour. If the group was good, maybe 40,000. So for gathering, the value seems to be kind of on the low end when you pick it up and start. That being said, if you are what I want to call a master skinner at this point, or a master herbalist, or a master mining, then you will probably make bunch. We're talking 50k plus, 60k plus, 70k plus, or even 80k plus gold per hour, depending on exactly what you farm. I've even seen people do 100k per hour with mining only, by hyper mining on bismuth farming, and having fully maxed out their gathering professions. So that is what I'm talking about today, the necessity to max out your gathering professions. Now for those of you who don't know, when you pick stuff up, the skill you have really matters, and let's just compare green tools to blue tools for a second, shall we? So for herbalism specifically, we have the same thing for skinning and for mining as well, but I'm going to show you I'm going to compare here between what I have and what you could potentially have. So we have the artisan sickle, for example, this one at quality 5, this would give me 329 stats, and plus 18 skill, and the 18 skill is no matter the quality by the way, even on Q2 it's still plus 18 skill, and the green one gives you plus 8. So it's 10 skill points above, and more skill points equals higher quality on whatever you are looting. Whether you're doing herbalism, mining or skinning, you just get higher quality materials for having higher skill points. Now you get 10 skill points, but also 100, or almost 100 stats as well. So 100 perception, for example, if you're doing mining, or 100 finesse if you're doing herbalism. You can do you can mix and match here, but those are the preferred stats, so you get way more stats as well. TLDR, you are heavily incentivized to get these items, the blue items, and you want to get all of them. So let's talk about my big problem with herbalism, mining and skinning. Blizzard have been nerfing acuity shuffles from the beta. We found a way to shuffle acuity by doing, when you skill up professions, or even in herbalism plus mining, the first time you loot something, you get acuity for it. Now they took that out. Same thing with first time crafts through leatherworking or even tailoring. They took out the acuity from first time crafts, and they directly did this because they didn't want you to shuffle acuity. And then for herbalism plus mining right now, the difference between a fresh character and somebody who's done the shuffle, it is weeks of progress. I've been doing some very easy calculations here, and let's just talk about the knowledge points aspect of everything. So if I just start doing herbalism plus mining, but you do 1 or 2 shuffles, so like 1 week or 2 weeks worth of acuity shuffling, this is our difference. Me, I can get 8 knowledge points from weekly pickups. I can get 3 more knowledge points from weekly quests from herbalism plus mining, right? So 8 KP plus 3 KP, and this means we can get 11 knowledge points per week, aka 550 acuity per week. Meanwhile, if you do a full shuffle right now, that is over 1000 acuity. You get 20 weeks of progress in 1 week. But that is also total acuity though, so more like 10 weeks. So 10 weeks of progress in 1 week by shuffling. Now, here's the acuity needed per profession, and this counts for the books you need to buy, and also the tools you need as well. So you need 300 acuity for the tool, and 300 for each of the accessories, and then you can buy books from this vendor right here. Now, the problem here is that a person that has done the shuffle and farms herbalism plus mining makes about 50,000 gold per hour. Meanwhile, a person who hasn't done the shuffle makes about 27,000. The difference is massive. Those numbers are somewhat fictive, by the way, but getting access to 3 blue tool upgrades and several more knowledge points from those books, it is a huge upgrade. Once again, they are weeks ahead of you. If you get 55 acuity per week and you need 1,500 of them, that is, what is that? That is way too, that's 30 weeks. It will take you 30 weeks to get to where they are. Meanwhile, they do 30 weeks of progress in 2 weeks. Anyone doing gathering for herbalism, mining, or skinning, you are so incentivized to do that shuffle for acuity. Meanwhile, Blizzard has made it their direct objective to remove shuffling. They tried their very best. They even took out the acuity from Darkmoon Fair quests. So they have taken out the acuity from as many different sources as they can. Meanwhile, for gathering, acuity is so important. It directly affects your gold per hour, so even if you have to spend like a couple of hours and 100,000 gold to do the shuffle, you make that back so fast. Anyone farming without doing the shuffle for acuity, you are wasting your time, and that feels so bad to say. Because if you're farming with herbalism plus mining right now, or even skinning, you pretty much, quote-unquote, have to do the shuffle in order to stay competitive. Now, the other part here is that as a gathering character, you don't have access to crafting orders. If you have seen crafting orders from crafting professions, they get so many orders every single week. They even reset twice per week. So as a tailor, I get over 100, sometimes 200 acuity every single week, and then knowledge points on top. Meanwhile, gatherers make even not less than half. You get 50 acuity per week. Referencing this, 55. As a tailor, on my best week, I got 250. So crafters have 5 times the amount of acuity that gatherers have to be able to get their tools, get their books, and all of that stuff. As a gatherer, you just feel so time-gated on how fast you can progress. It is insane. And I want to talk about how this can be fixed, by the way, because this is a problem, but I don't just want to highlight a problem without talking about a possible fix. A possible fix here would be, number 1, increase the amount of acuity we get from the weekly quest. Literally, the weekly quest right now gives us 3 KPs, knowledge points. Only. That's it. Make that weekly quest give you 50 acuity at least, maybe even 100. Add some acuity to that quest. Yes, it will bring some shuffles back, where people will now shuffle gathering as well in their shuffles, but we are 2 weeks into the expansion. Nobody cares. Shuffling is already a thing. You, Blizzard here, like Blizzard, you made this possible by making crafting orders give acuity. People still shuffle acuity. So why not put acuity into the gathering weekly quests? Give us 3 KPs as usual, but give us 50 acuity. So 3 KPs knowledge points and 50 acuity. Alternatively, give us more knowledge points. So give us 10 knowledge points per week from the weekly quest, resulting in 18 KPs per week. Because crafting orders are huge. As a tailor, I've gotten 20 knowledge points in 1 week. So once again, crafters just get way more knowledge points and way more acuity on a weekly basis than gatherers do. And it's ridiculous. Being a gatherer right now absolutely sucks. Now, solution number 2 would be even simpler perhaps, but I do think just putting acuity into the weekly quest is a very simple solution. Solution number 2 is to make the equipment for herbalism and mining cost half of the acuity than the other ones. So, for example, right now if you go to current expansion only here, all of these cost me 300 acuity to make. Cut that in half. Make it 150. So we can actually get those tools and accessories a little bit faster. Either you have to reduce the amount of acuity we need to spend, or you have to increase the amount of acuity that we get. Because once again, referencing the numbers I had on screen earlier, putting them all back, we need to progress for 30 weeks. to be able to get to the point we want to be at. Meanwhile, like a normal, quote-unquote normal person has to progress for 30 weeks of doing weeklies to get to that stage. But the degens that are going through the shuffle, which I'm going to do if this doesn't get fixed, by the way, then I'm going to be there in 2 weeks, but I would have to shuffle. So Blizzard is indirectly forcing anyone with Gathering to go through the shuffle that they have intentionally done their very best to nerf and just make not work. But it still is in the game, and people feel compelled to go through it. Now, that's a huge rant about the way acuity affects Gathering right now, and honestly, Gathering feels like shit. It absolutely feels terrible, and I wanted to talk about that and rant for a bit, but also come out with a couple of solutions to that problem, and just talk about everything in general. And I also want to highlight that this could be a good thing, perhaps, because it adds a ceiling to herbalism plus mining, because now it's just like, if you go and do herbalism plus mining, bare bones, no acuity shuffling, you're barely making enough gold to where it's worth doing, which means a lot of people just don't do it. Meanwhile, if you go through the shuffle, you can actually make decent gold per hour by upgrading all of your tools to blue and getting all the KP books as well. Now, once again, that is 1,500 acuity per profession, so if you're gonna do both herbalism plus mining, that is 3,000 acuity in total. And at the moment, having gone through a full shuffle recently myself, you get about 1,000 per week, and that takes a lot of time, and also about 150,000 gold, most of which you do get back if you're smart, but yeah, it costs a lot of gold and a lot of time, but you can get about 1,000 acuity-ish per week. You used to be able to get 1.6, but they have reduced the amount of crafting orders available to crafters. So yeah, acuity shuffling still is a thing for some reason, and affects gatherers way more than anyone else, I feel like, because once again, it directly affects your gold per hour, and not just by a little bit, by a lot. So that's the video. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by liking the video down below, and let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Is this a good thing, bad thing? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Do you simply not care? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to know more about gold making in the War Within, then check out my gold making guide for the War Within, where we cover everything gold making. If you buy the guide, then I make it my personal goal to help you make as much gold as possible in the War Within. We have solo gold farms, group gold farms, we have investments, and we're talking a bunch about professions. One of my specialties in this expansion so far, I do feel like it is professions, and talking about how to spend concentration and make a bunch of gold that way. So once again, if you want my help to make gold, then that's the place to be. When you buy the guide, you also get early access to videos and exclusive videos as well, and access to a gold making Discord server. Either way, that's the video, so thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it. I will see you again in the next one very soon. Bye bye now.